Okay. We are with Francis Fuster, master percussionist. I think you've played with almost everybody who matters. Here's Masakela, Makiba. But many people in Ghana might remember you for being Geraldo Pino's drummer.
That's right.
Unfortunately, we've also lost Geraldo Pino in the last few months.
Unfortunately.
Who was Geraldo Pino?
Geraldo Pino was this one unique gentleman that I met in 1962 in Freetown. We all just finished our school certificate exams, waiting for results to come out, and we put this band together. We had a club called the Revelers. And we put a small band together, and next thing we knew, results came out. We were talking about going to Fabi College. We were talking about going to study. Suddenly we were playing, and a lot of people didn't go to university anymore. Instead of going, we formed a band called the Heartbeats. Then it was just called the Heartbeats, and Pino was playing guitar and singing rock and roll from the 60s.
Gerald was on the piano?
No, I was a guitar player.
Okay.
I was a guitar player. We were doing Cliff Richard. We were covering songs from Cliff Richard and the Shadows, stuff from Elvis Presley, Tommy Steele. Those of us who are old enough will know what I'm talking about. And then we started to write along those lines as well.
Yeah.
So we had this fantastic band, developed so fast, became so popular so quickly, brought out talents that were unbelievable, and suddenly we started to travel. And we left Freetown in 1964. We traveled to Monrovia, to Abidjan. By 1966, we were in Cote d'Ivoire. Just after the military coup that got Nkrumah out, we arrived in Ghana.
Okay.
And we drove straight from Abidjan to Kumasi.
Okay.
Where we got our first contract at a place called Hotel the Kingsway.
Yes,
a gentleman called
Colin
Williams.
Yes, yeah.
And he set us up for almost a year there. He wouldn't let us go. He signed us a contract, locked us down. Because the band became so dynamite.
Yes.
And this grew. It was amazing how much. And in Ghana has always been the place for music.
Yes.
Ghana is very central in West Africa. So if you're a hit in Ghana in any business whatsoever, you have to your right, you have Nigeria, Cameroon, Dahomey, Togo. To your left, you have Monrovia, Abidjan, Sierra Leone, Guinea.
Yeah.
It's
Senegal.
So it's very central. So when we made a hit here, we hit all of West Africa. It spread like wildfire. And Pino became such a dynamite performer. And he became a James Brown exponent, he became a Ray Charles exponent. And we started to write little pieces as well here. And we made the first big record review was called Shake Hands with Your Friends.
Okay.
That became a big hit. And it just went on, the success story went on and on and on.
You've been regularly accused of killing her life.
Well,
the Heartbeats came with soul, and that killed her life.
Actually, I disagree with that, because High Life blossomed side by side with soul music. Because High Life was jazz.
Can you defend that a bit more?
Yes, because the guys in the Heartbeats also loved High Life, so consequently we played High Lives too. I learned songs like that Ebutele wrote. We used to do "Someone for One Insano." Heartbeats did it.
I know this. You covered that on your recent album
as well, right? We did that on stage. One of the reasons we came to Ghana was because of the Ramblers. Because while we were still in Freetown, the Ramblers visited Sierra Leone, and they had singers like Willie Cheatham, Joe Achiso, those guys, and they were singing, and the band was so good, we decided that this was the place to come. So when we arrived in Ghana, we never wanted to leave. We stayed here a long time, and we became a big band here. And because of our inventiveness, because we changed musical instruments, we changed attitude.
That's one thing I don't understand. I mean, Sierra Leone has always been a small, poorer country by West African standards. How come you had this powerful instrumentation?
The surprise was
4 speakers, blah blah blah. It blew, even fell off.
Yeah, we were able to. We read up on
4 microphones. I mean,
we read up on the subject. We had 6 microphones on this on the stage. Everybody had one because I sang from my drum kit.
Okay.
Actually, I was the lead singer in the house.
I see.
Myself. I did most of the songs from my drum kit.
Okay.
And Pino only came and did a show. We would do like 3 or 5 songs a whole night, and I did most of the work with the band that we had then.
But how could you afford that kind of amplification or instrumentation from Sierra Leone?
Geraldo Pino was also a fantastic businessman.
Okay.
And it was very, very. We ordered newspapers, music magazines. We read up on stuff that was happening. We developed, along with bands like the Beatles. We used stuff they used. We had the same guitars that they used. We were very, very. We were very adventurous.
Up to date.
Yes, we were very adventurous. So we got up to date stuff. So by the time we arrived in Accra, we were ready. And then because of that, all the other bands that were in Accra had to improve.
Yeah.
They had no choice. So consequently, it improved high life music.
Okay.
Tremendously. Uhuru had to get better.
Yeah.
The Armed Forces Dance Band had to get better. Ramblers had to get better. The Police Band had to get better. Then other bands sprung up. When we arrived, there was the Avengers were here with Gabi and all those people were playing. So they had to get better instruments. So sound generally became much innovative, much better, clearer, and competition became very keen.
Let me just try to clear a historical point. I understand you saw James Brown in Abidjan?
Oh yeah, we saw James Brown in Abidjan, we saw James Brown in Nigeria as well. We met him. Our first real contact was in Nigeria with James Brown. I remember James Brown coming to Nigeria and I'm working at the stadium and Pino going on stage and doing a couple of songs with him. I remember that.
Because some people think that James Brown borrowed some Pino rhythms actually.
Oh, James Brown borrowed rhythms from Africa all over the place. Most of the musicians of that time from the States borrowed music from Africa, from Senegal, from Ghana, from Nigeria. They had, some of them came there, we didn't even know they were here. They would come and live in a hotel and go listen to the small bands, go to the villages, pick up rhythms and take it back. Even the jazz musicians did that, you know. So this was Pino was a dynamite person. He was a very clever guy as well. So he didn't stop at anything. He was always looking for new ideas, new methods, new equipment, how to take the band forward. It was a gamble. It was a little bit of a gamble. I took chances, and most of the time was lucky.
An entrepreneur.
Yes, he was a real businessman. Most of the time, these things paid off. You know. So we became very, very successful band until 1970, 71, 72. Then the original Heartbeats, as most people knew it, broke up. Well, there was no fight. It was just that everybody grows up, everybody develops, and it was time to go different ways and to do different things.
So when did you leave the Heartbeats?
Well, I left in 1972.
So you left the Heartbeats while it was based in Ghana?
Well, we went to Nigeria and did a tour. We came back, we did a few concerts, and I left. I went back to Nigeria and formed my own band called the Baranta.
Okay.
And that
that's your label now?
Yes.
Okay.
And that band actually worked for 4 years in Nigeria before I went to the States.
Okay.
In 1975, 76.